Hi, my name is Mike Calorie. I am the Director of Conference Formation for the Diocesan Council of Pittsburgh of the Society of St. Vincent de Paul. I would like to take a few moments to talk about servant leadership in relationship to our 400-year-old Vincentian charisma. For a few moments, let us ignore the rules of physics and time in order to take a trip to the little village of Chantillon in southwest France. It is the month of August in year 1617. In a small musty room located in the back of a nondescript church, the newly appointed pastor is pulling the thread-worn vestments over his head as he prepares to celebrate Mass. His movements are projected on the wall by the dancing flames of a few uneven candles. His face fails to announce to the world the overwhelming joy in his heart of being the good shepherd of this peasant flock. Unbeknownst to us and others, he is quietly thanking God for the opportunity to serve his parishioners. Suddenly he turns to a chorus of frantic voices that increases in volume the closer the footsteps reach him. Calls of Father Vincent echo from one stone wall to another as he is facing a group of worried parishioners. We see the confusion that is evident on his face as he tries his best to decipher the vocal collage of sounds that are rapidly escaping from the mouths of the concerned women. He begs them to calm themselves and instructs one of the parishioners, an older woman with vacant eyes and callous hands, to explain their pleas. Father Vincent is told of a family that resides on the outskirts of the village in a remote area. This family is in serious trouble since all of them are sick and unable to care for each other because they are physically too weak. Father Vincent meditates for a moment to reflect on the trials and tribulations of this desperate family. He calmly assures them, the concerned parishioners, that he will address the unfortunate situation during Mass. We witness Father Vincent walking with a purpose to the pulpit on this August day 400 years ago to appeal to the parishioners who are sitting on the rough wooden pews to help this family in need. The response by his flock was a miracle. When Father Vincent visited his family later in the day, he discovered a large group of women gathered at the front door. He was touched by their compassion and generosity because they gave from their surplus, not from their daily needs. As Vincent took in this amazing force of charity, a question emerged. Couldn't these good women be brought together and encouraged to give themselves to God to serve the sick and the poor? Reflecting on this question decades later, Vincent realized that this was God's call for him to establish both the confraternities of charities and the daughters of charity. The compassion and outreach in this family in need marked the start of 400 years of Vincentian charisma due to the servant leadership of St. Vincent de Paul and a group of women parishioners from this small French village. The term servant leadership was coined by a businessman by the name of Robert K. Greenleaf in 1970. But the practice of servant leadership has been around for over 2,000 years. Jesus demonstrated the power of servant leadership at the Last Supper. The King of Kings knelt down and washed the feet of his disciples. The message was clear. One cannot lead until one serves. Servant leaders come in all sizes, all ages, all nationalities, during all periods of history. Please allow me to tell you about one I was blessed to encounter at a young age. It was the summer of 1968. I was playing my third year of Little League Baseball. Since it was my third year being on a team, I considered myself a veteran. Several new players joined our team that season, young rookies. We veterans barely gave them the time of day. One of the young rookies never stopped smiling and constantly volunteered to do any of the grunt work, like carrying the baseball equipment in the large dusty bags or running with passion into the woods to retrieve a foul ball. He seldom got to play, but that didn't prevent him from being the consummate teammate. One hot, muggy day, I was sitting on a bench in a dugout, ignoring the advice of my coaches prior to a game. Suddenly, the mother of this rookie appeared at the end of the dugout. I overheard her tell one of the coaches that her family would be going on vacation the next week. I thought to myself, it's no big deal. We don't really need him. Another rookie can be appointed to carry the equipment and fill the water jug. But it turned out to be a big deal for all of us. You see, this rookie died trying to keep his younger cousin from drowning as they fought the death grip of a riptide. As I stood looking at the face of this rookie lying in a small coffin at the funeral home, I just couldn't comprehend how he found the courage to risk his life to save his cousin. But with age and a little wisdom, I now understand that he was being the face of Christ as a servant leader. For a brief moment, let's imagine we are one of many watching Jesus being led to his crucifixion. Bloodied and bruised, exhausted in immense pain, he falls to his knees. His so-called loyal disciples make no effort to bring him water or offer to carry the heavy cross for him. But a woman steps from the crowd, removes her veil, stoops down, and wipes the blood and sweat from the face of Jesus. Veronica performs a simple act of womanly kindness. She did not allow herself to be deterred by the brutality of the Roman soldiers or immense fear that paralyzed any possible act of compassion from those in the crowd. So are you willing to imitate Veronica? Are you willing to provide an act of compassion to those individuals and families in need? As a servant leader, you don't need to come up with a cure for cancer. You don't have to eliminate world hunger. You don't have to find a home for every homeless person on the planet. You just need to be the face of Christ to that one individual you encounter today that needs a little compassion and empathy. Have a blessed and peaceful week.